Thank you very much to all of our panelists. Mr. Abrams, I'll start with you. You have written that successfully undermining Hezbollah's grip on Lebanon will require diplomatic and economic pressure from the United States and our allies, especially France. European nations, as we have seen, have long been reluctant to designate the totality of Hezbollah as a terrorist organization. So what is it going to take for France and all the members of the EU to take a harder line on Hezbollah? And what can the U.S. do to push everyone in the right direction?
As you know, Madam Chairman, the French have had, for obvious historical reasons, a special interest in Lebanon. There was a lot of cooperation between the U.S. and the French at the time that the Cedar Revolution rose up and that the Syrians were finally forced to leave Lebanon. So I think we could start a process of talking to the French privately about exactly what you're proposing. How do we move ahead here? They would have to bring the Europeans along, but I think there's a real good chance that because the Europeans recognize the special French role, that this would happen. I think Ms. Frankel was right in saying that we're, in many ways, weakening our diplomatic instruments, but I think the beginning of it is for us to adopt a policy that says, we have a goal of weakening Hezbollah. Let's go to the French with that and say, okay, what do we do in terms of military aid, in terms of economic aid, to put pressure on Lebanon now to say the current deal, where Hezbollah gets to do whatever it wants anywhere in the Middle East, is fine with us and we'll keep paying.
Thank you very much. And to either Dr. Salam or Dr. Wittes, either one would like to answer in the interest of time. Saudi Arabia has accused Hezbollah of playing an increasing role in Yemen by allegedly helping to train, equip, and finance the Houthis. And there are also concerns of a Hezbollah presence on the Saudi border. And in announcing his resignation, Hariri was particularly aggrieved by the presence and participation of Hezbollah and the IRGC in Yemen. So what does a Hezbollah presence in Yemen mean for Saudi Arabia? How does Hezbollah assistance to the Houthis change the current situation on the ground? And how do the U.S., the Saudis, and others work together to curb Iran's latest attempt to expand its presence? Thank you, sir.
I think what concerns the Saudis most about Hezbollah and Iran's presence are the missiles that are being launched on Saudi Arabia. And as my colleague said, I think the Saudis fear that there's a reproduction of the pattern that happened in Lebanon vis-a-vis Israel. And I think that's probably accurate, that the Iranians have that ambition. As far as anyone knows, the Hezbollah presence in Yemen is limited to advisors, technicians, maybe missile experts, and so on. Very different than the thousands of fighters that they have in Syria, that they've rotated through Syria and fought there. So the presence is limited. The Saudis are also concerned, as are many Lebanese, that Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, for many, many months has championed the anti-Saudi cause publicly in all of his speeches and his media, and that is something that is also unacceptable to the Saudis. There is obviously a general rejection of Iran's presence in Syria and Iraq as well, but for Saudi, Yemen is the urgent case, and I think if there were some de-escalation or some commitments, whether public or behind the scenes, that could be something that could resolve this temporary Lebanese crisis.
So much. Did you want to add anything, Dr. Wittes?
Well, I'll only add that although Hassan Nasrallah has denied that Hezbollah is engaged in Yemen or in supporting the Houthis, the U.S. military has intercepted shipments of weapons that seem to come from Iran and are destined for the Houthis in Yemen. And there has been news reporting of Hezbollah fighters boasting about their engagement in Yemen. So it's something that they formally deny, but the evidence is mounting.
Thank you so much to all three of you. Now I will yield to my friend, Mr. Deutsche, Florida.